Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let me see who was here first. Okay, here we go. Uh, Beverly Jackson, thank you so much for being here first. And let me see, how is everyone doing? I'm doing. Nobody's doing me right now, but I'm doing. As a matter of fact, um, it's been very quiet here since pre-pandemic. But I digress. Yeah, nobody's doing me. Um, uh, Thank you, thank you. By the way, folks, I'll be here all week. Thank you. Um, let's see here. You know, people always say, "How come you don't do stand up?" I don't know, because I can't wait to sit down. Maybe if they call it sit down, I would do it. But so long as I have to stand, my middle name is sedentary lifestyle. As long as I have to stand, that's a deal breaker. What is wrong with me? I cannot stop tonight. Let me see here. Connie Balmer. Hey, Connie Balmer. Thank you so much for being here. Adriana Jones, Maurice Brown. Let's see, Gwendolyn Daniels. Oh, Charles Lambert is here. Thank you so much. Hoodoo Daughter. All right. Thank you for being here. Let's see. All right. So I don't think we'll be here for more than an hour. Let me take that away. No regrets whatsoever. Where is Elaine Parker? Where's Elaine Parker? She hasn't been here for a minute, right? I hope she's okay. I just thought about Elaine Parker because I know there's been at least a couple of occasions there would be something in the title and she would ask me about something that I put in the title. And by the time I went on, I had forgot all about it. I'm like, seemed like a good idea at the time. Yeah, so I'll get back to no regrets because now I didn't forget the point I was trying to make. Let's see. Okay, let's keep it moving then. Remember Saturday, October 12th, which is still for an hour here in the Central Time Zone, is the Day of the Girl, the International Day of the Girl. So I found some of my favorite girls to help celebrate. I do believe this is an AI image, and nothing says International Girl like someone in a little baby dashiki. Yeah, she's wearing her little dashiki and some afro puffs with some sunglasses. Now that's what I call a girl. Yeah. And if I can get through this without mentioning one of the Queen's children, if I can get through today without mentioning one of the Queen's children, as it is International Day of the Girl, guess which child I'm trying to avoid mentioning? Because every time I look at that one particular heir to the throne, I just keep saying, well, you know what I'd be saying. I can't help myself. But yeah. So did anybody guess which girl I'm trying not to mention? Nobody? Every time I see her, the first thing that comes to mind, yes, Tamara. Yes, absolutely.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, that girl. Not exactly Marlo Thomas, but she'll do in a pinch. Edwina. Someone left me a really nasty comment about that one day. And I think they decided to unsubscribe. Yeah, they left me a really nasty comment about that. Oh, well. I'm sure she's been called worse. Oh, where's my there? And of course, speaking of International Day of the Girl, um, let us not forget Ruby Bridges. Now, this, of course, is a Norman Rockwell image, but how brave Ruby Bridges, who helped desegregate a school, what was it, back in the 50s? What a moment in American history. So Norman Rockwell actually created this image for the Saturday Evening Post. I believe that was a magazine. And as you can see, it's not an 100% accurate depiction of the moment, but he captured the spirit of what was going on in the country at the time. And there was this young girl who found herself in the forefront of American history, all of a sudden just propelled into international fame. And all she was trying to do was go to school and get an education. You can see the federal marshals. One thing you can say about Eisenhower, even though he was a Republican president, he was actually from Texas. And, so who would expect that Dwight Eisenhower, back in those days, they actually listened to the Supreme Court. And you would have to say that the Supreme Court was actually worthy of the respect that they received. They did not buy the whole idea of separate but equal. Um, if you're paying taxes, then you're supposed to have equal access. And that was the whole point of the civil rights movement. Well, one of the points is having equal protection under the law and equal access to all public services. If you pay your taxes, then you should not be segregated to one school or the other, given the fact that all of the taxes are pooled and those taxes go to pay for the schools. But the problem was at the time is that almost without exception, schools in black or whatever minority community were always subpar, always less than, never of the same standard as the white schools, even though you had this huge working class population of people of color who worked and paid taxes like everyone else. And so that was one of the reasons why they had to desegregate the schools. So, point was made. And of course, another AI image, a reimagined version of Diana Princess, Wonder Woman. Of course, if you follow the Wonder Woman comics from the old comic books, that was her name, was Diana Princess. And of course, Diana, the goddess of the hunt, the warrior princess, Diana. So yeah, Wonder Woman's fictitious name is Diana Princess. That's the name she used when she went to be amongst the mere mortals. Okay, so back to present day. Meghan Markle talks to teens about being one of the most bullied people in the world. Co-founder of the charity says the Duchess of Sussex has been candid about her experience with online bullying through the years. And I cannot stress this enough. Meghan has been vetted. And if you don't know what that term means, anytime there is an election, you vet the other candidate. Well, actually, you vet both candidates, but for some reason, there are certain women throughout the history of the United States, for certain, that are subject to horrendous misogyny and scrutiny. And I, thought that wasn't a thing in Europe. I thought, oh, Europe, they're not like the United States. No place is like the United States. And I got that rude awakening. I found out that Europe is not this bastion of liberalism and all of these enlightened people. They're just as wacky as we are, minus the guns, of course. So that was something that was shocking because, and the reason why so many African Americans have this skewed representation of what Europe is really like is because of the jazz era. During the jazz era, lots of African American jazz musicians, they would travel to Europe and they would be given that star treatment that wasn't available at home. Yeah, amongst the Black community, yeah, everybody looked up to you. But some of these, well, almost all of the Black musicians at some point would play for a white audience here in the United States. And not so long ago, you, as a Black musician, as a Black artist, you can entertain. You could be in the best ballroom or theaters in the land, but you weren't allowed to use the front door. You had to use the servant's entrance. And you were not likely able to stay at that hotel. You'd have to go across town. And I mean, there was some very big stars like Billie Holiday who would be put up at some, boarding house somewhere while she's singing for the wealthiest, the best, and the brightest. And that's the way it was back in those days. And so when Black people in the United States heard about these musicians and artists and such going over to Europe and being treated like royalty, being treated like the real talents that they are, that is something that a lot of Black people in the United States believe for quite some time is that, I can get out. And, you'd have people like Nina Simone, who else? Josephine Baker, all kind of artists. They would go to Europe and get all this respect, all this consideration. But because there's such a right-wing movement that is, pretty much everywhere nowadays, now we see that it's not exactly what we thought it was. So how times have changed. Well, anyway, that was the reason why it is so weird for me to think, wow, Meghan went over to the UK. At least she doesn't have to put up with what happened over here, only to find out there's plenty of that over there. As a matter of fact, that's where we learned it from. I always say that that's one of the biggest exports when the Europeans colonized the world. They took racism with them, and nobody was better at divide and conquer than the British. That's how they became such a huge empire, because nobody was better when it comes to divide and conquer. Oh, they were The best. The best. I mean, do you see the size of India? How in the world did they take control of India? They had their, well, anyway, and now the largest population of any country that speaks English, bar none, is India. There are more people that speak English in India than any place else in the world. Go figure. I think the United Kingdom might be number 6 in the 6th place, or even further down. Yeah, I think number 6. Okay, so Meghan Markle spoke with young girls about an important issue ahead of International Day of the Girl. Larissa May, founder of the Half the Story, a nonprofit focused on improving young people's relationship with technology, told Vanity Fair about the personal conversation that Meghan had with a group of teens while visiting the nonprofit Girls Inc. in Santa Barbara, California. And that was on October. Was that October 2nd she went there? She went on October the 2nd and it took 10 days. Am I saying that right? It took us like, what, 10 days before we found out about it? Well, Santa Barbara is a county, right? And there's a town in Santa Barbara that is called Montecito. And you know what we say about Montecito? There are no leaks. There are no leaks in Montecito. So, yeah, if I'm right, that means that all this time and there were no words or leaks or anything about it. Interesting. Oh, well, we did an activity where we talked through a bunch of scenarios, and Meghan talked about being one of the most bullied people in the world, recalls. We had girls wave these little emoji signs and talk about how each one of these scenarios would have impacted them emotionally, she said. Interesting. Half the Story and Girls Inc., whose CEO is Stephanie J. Hull, joined forces with a partnership funded by the Duchess of Sussex's Archwell Foundation, along with Melinda French Gates' company Pivotal Ventures and the Oprah Winfrey Charitable Foundation. The partnership was announced on Friday, October the 11th, which is International Day of the Girl. Well, 11th or the 12th, they can't seem to make up their mind. So right here, it says, together, these three organizations created a program called Social Media U Educational Initiative that will equip girls with the essential tools to thrive in the digital age while fostering healthier, more balanced relationships with technology, according to a statement from the Archwell Foundation. And let's get to some direct quotes. Yeah, I think we're good with that. All right, let's go over here. Now, whilst reading that article, I thought about this. It wasn't so long ago that, well, if Meghan is the most bullied person in the world, I'm going to say the most protected, the most defended, the most fragile, publicly fragile person in the world, the English Rose herself. If this is how Britain treats Kate, no wonder so many young women are struggling. You know, it makes my blood boil. It makes my blood boil considering the source of this article. Unrealistic expectations are being imposed on women thanks to, in large part, to our toxic social media culture. What about the tabloid media culture? No mention of the tabloids. No mention of Caroline Flack. If it wasn't for the toxic media culture, maybe Carolyn Flack would still be alive today. And then, of course, there's Victoria Newton, lay off Kate. And I wrote, and I went in and I called over to the Kensington Palace and I said, hey, how is she doing? Did you call over to Kensington Palace when Meghan heavily, that is, pregnant with her first child? Did you call and see how she was doing? Did you tell the tabloids to back off Meghan? No. This is such a farce. It is so cruel and mean-spirited the way that those two, Camilla Tominey and Victoria Newton, who gave approval for the worst article ever written about Meghan, she was the one who signed off on it. So, indeed, if you're going to have all these people saying, Meghan is saying that she's the most bullied person, she's the bully. No, she was bullied by Kensington Palace, Buckingham Palace, and the British tabloid media. And of course, their mistreatment fed directly into the laptops, the desktops, tablets, and of course, the mobiles, the cell phones of the derangers. It was a well-oiled machine, and it is still cranking away, and it is still spewing abuse at someone that I guarantee you none of them have ever met. None of them have ever met. So few of the people that harbored all of this hatred and contempt for Meghan, so few of them have ever met her. Very few. When Harry said, stay away from them, tell Meghan, don't bother, stay away from them. You know, Meghan wanted to go and make nice with those people, but Harry already knew exactly who they were and what they were going to do. Right after the Oceania tour, they couldn't hide their contempt. They were weaponized. They were mobilized against Meghan, and they have not deviated since. They rarely let slip anything that can be considered a compliment. Every day, there is some version of what Harry and Meghan, we all know, usually Meghan, what Meghan has done wrong. It has been, 6 years now. 6 years since they were married. 4 years since they left. And they're still beating that drum. And what's his name? Wilkinson, the guy that does that thing with the Sun every week, where instead of talking about the royal family, they mention a couple things about the royal family, and it's back to Harry and Meghan. They have been gone for 4 years. And they are obsessed with who do they know? What do they do? It seems to me if you really want to hurt them, leave them alone. Don't say anything. They're not going to do that. Prince William is hurt after seeing Kate Middleton hounded like his mother, Princess Diana, was. Royal expert claims as social media explodes with outlandish conspiracy theories about royals' health. I'm sure that in no way compares to this idea that Meghan doesn't have kids, never had any kids. She's actually 10 years older than what she pretends to be. I mean, there's all kind of conspiracies. And a lot of the hostility was born right there at Kensington Palace, which of course led to this huge amount of conspiracies. Instagram blasted for bullying Princess Kate after adding warning to edited image. Wildest thing I've ever seen. And this nitwit sitting up there crying about the way Kate has been, hey, boy, Kate, yeah, and they won't leave Kate alone. And just the way that she's been treated, and
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
yeah. She cried, she boo-hooed, all of that for someone that I don't think she's ever met before. But because she has this idea that she always wanted to grow up to be a royal princess, I bet she walks around her flat all the time pretending to be a royal princess. You know, like when she didn't she take a Meghan's wedding image and superimpose or Photoshop her image in there? The Schofield girl, didn't she do that? She's sick. She really has a problem. You know, you look at her eyes, you can see her eyes look kind of crazy. She really is nuts. She really is an absolute nut. Now, rare moving speech at Children's Hospital. I have close friends whose children are there. Now, I saw this and I thought, oh, she gave a speech. I don't think that that's the case. I think that they're only considering when she spoke to the whoever had the camera at the red carpet. I don't think that there was a speech because when I saw that, I'm just like, what? What a speech? In a video released by the guess who, the Daily Mail, Markle is seen talking to a little boy and his mother saying, "Hi, sweetheart, how are you? Past your bedtime, for sure." She said to the mother and son. Markle then asked the mom for his age and responded, "Oh, so really close to our kids, 3 and 5." Let's see. She also took time to praise the hospital for everything. So I don't believe that there was a speech. I do not believe that there was a speech. Yeah. So I don't know. This Woman's World's article is a little misleading because, you know, there wasn't a speech. They did speak to Meghan, but I don't believe that there was a speech. And then the article goes on to say what we know about. Hold on. There we go. It goes on to say what to know about Meghan Markle's famous red dress, and then the Duchess of Sussex's history with the Los Angeles Children's Hospital. And that's it. There was no speech. I don't believe that there was a speech. But I did see that what's her name? The one who wore a red dress, and she said that Meghan ghosted her, that they were really good friends and Meghan ghosted her. Well, you know what? She was on one of those awful shows yesterday or today, and I was really enjoying what she was saying until she started going south and saying negative, nasty stuff. But she said that the security all of a sudden got really tight, and they were like, "Oh, is it Michelle Obama? Oh, maybe it's so and so. Maybe it's so and so." And she said the security was like, "Get out of the way." And I'm sure all of that is exaggerated. I'm sure all of that is exaggerated. And then she said, "Oh, it was Meghan Markle." And then she went on to say all of these negative things. People at my table said such and such, so and so, and she wants so much. They are playing this thing of, well, what I should say, they have created this narrative around the event that Meghan was being so desperate and that she was not well received, even though it appeared as though she was personally invited by the president of the hospital, or the charity for the hospital. And no, the president and CEO, she was personally invited by him, it appears, seeing that they took a photo together. So, you know, the math is not mathing. It seemed as though there was this huge moment when Meghan came in, and then we know that she sat down at the table. I believe she sat next to Jimmy Kimmel. By the way, these are from the Intrepid visit. This is where I was showing the difference between the dress as it was in 2021, was it, compared to 2024. So every day there is a new, I guess, theory about what happened when Meghan walked on the red carpet. And I'm just like, how many different ways can they tell the same story? And one thing, she was too pushy, and another one, she was too shy. And then it just goes on and on, all because of the red dress. But as I said, I do believe that what caused all of this grief is because we're supposed to be in the middle of a big viral moment. Kate's going back to doing regular duty, and they made all this fuss and nothing happened. Judy Matat said, there we go, something happened. I got a super sticker. Thank you very much, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. So let's go back to, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Was it yesterday? Okay, no, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Let me go back one more day. So yesterday was 11, the 10th. Okay. And you know what? In a minute, I'm going to forget what I was going back there for. I'm gonna forget why I wanted to go back there. So let me go here. Okay, yeah, and then this is another one. Then of course they were saying the emotional connection. So at first Meghan was being, yeah, anyway, you already know, so I don't have to repeat that to you. Ah, but again, I contribute all of this to the rollout that wasn't. Children were laughing and singing as the Duchess turned into a character with. Oh yes, let me get to that. So I wanted to. I went back to April, and I found this. This is what I used for April. Duchess Meghan surprises patients at Children's Hospital with an intimate storybook session. She wore a pretty springtime look for the occasion. So if you missed this in April, I'm going to show you the few photos. And also, this was another occasion because don't they call this something March, right? And just like what I opened with today, about the children that Meghan spoke to maybe a week ago, and there was no leaks, there was no video, there was no nothing. The same thing happened here. I just remembered that they took photos, right? The patients took photos, their parents, their family, they took photos of the patients with Meghan. And of course, at the time, they were criticizing Meghan, saying that she brought her camera crew, when the truth is, it was the families. Anytime they have any person invited to the hospital to read to the children, which I'll show you that in a minute, there's always photos taken with the children, and then those photos are posted in the hospital and eventually gifted to their families. And of course, they made this big fuss about Meghan was just trying to take photos, when the truth is, Meghan had already had a relationship with the Children's Hospital. And once again, she was invited. She didn't invite herself, she was invited. Okay, let me get to the next one. Um, Let me see here. Oh, there we go. So, the Duchess of Sussex visited Children's Hospital, Los Angeles, on March the 21st, and it took until the 1st of April before we heard anything about it. There was no leaks. Not one family member leaked that information. This is why it was such a good call for the Sussexes to go to California. They are so protected there. And of course, a lot of hateful people said, why would they go there? If they thought they were having trouble here, wait until they have been so protected there. We didn't hear about it for a week. It took a week before we found out that Meghan actually visited the Children's Hospital. Why? Because there are no leaks. Children were laughing and singing. Well, actually, let me finish that. Where she led a literally healing session. Yeah, she visited the Children's Hospital where she literally led a healing session. Children were laughing and singing as the Duchess turned into characters with every page as she read patient favorite book like Rosie the Riveter, Pete the Cat, I Saw a Cat, According to a statement, Meghan also helped children with STEAM activities connected, connected that is, to each book. In a video of the visit, Meghan greeted the children as they gathered for the engaging reading time, excitedly showing the cover of Rosie Riveter, engineer, and telling the group, "This is one of my favorites." The mom of two shared uh, son Archie and daughter Princess Lilibet with Harry, share with Harry, gave animated reading, adding voice inflections and gestures to go along with the stories. Children shouted out answers and sang along as Meghan read Pete the Cat and his four groovy buttons. This was a great choice, friends, she said as she closed the book and declared the end. Again, very, very well protected there. And you can see Access Hollywood, the Miami Herald, Entertainment Tonight, Extra TV. They didn't have to go through the filter of the British tabloid media. They had no idea that this had even happened even a week later. Huh? Even a week later? You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Exactly. They didn't know about that either. Oh, she replaced Meghan's face with her own. Ugh, yuck. Yuck. That is gruesome. Let's see. Who said reading books for children was a royal style event? What is a royal style event? Well, as you can see here, there is Usher, there's Michelle Obama. What's her name? Oh gosh, Million Dollar Baby. What is her name? I forget. Gardner, something Gardner. Um, as I said, lots of celebrities, politicians, and such have gone to that hospital. Oh, wait till you see the next one. Wait till you see the next slide. Let me see here. There you go. Recognize the redhead on the right? You see there? Children's Hospital on the West Coast, helping families live healthier lives. Huh. So that is longtime friend Demi Lovato, and a longtime friend, is it? And then there in the middle, thank you so much for stopping by. That is, what's his name? The one that played Elvis. The guy that played Elvis. I don't recognize those other two people. Oh, Austin Butler, that's his name. And what is his name? How do you say that? Yeah, well, okay. Gerber. All right. And then, of course, there's, what's his name there? Um, Stratton. The other redhead. So there you go. And then right there, Meghan Markle adorably reads to kids during the whatever it was. And look at how many times it was, it was trending like crazy. And they were very upset because they were saying, how could she do this while Kate Middleton, blah, 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 as though time was supposed to stop for Kate Middleton. Oh, Princess Meghan. Okay. Wow, look at how she was trending that day. Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, Duchess Meghan, Princess Meghan, and of course, services what? Universal. Services Universal. Now, at that time, people were also making a comparison. This is like one of the that was one of the biggest hospital visits since Princess Diana went to the hospital in Harlem. Now, to be fair, nothing was as big as Princess Diana going to that hospital in Harlem. That still have people that were there at that time talking about how amazing it was, how down to earth she was, and the director, she said that they had never, you know, all of the places that Princess Diana went, you hear it over and over again. Well, we've always had a lot of famous people come through here, but nobody was really here for the children until Princess Diana came. That's when they felt as though their hard work with the children was authentically and honestly being recognized. And of course, when Meghan went to visit with those children, and believe me, there's been a lot of celebrities through there. I don't know that that hospital had ever had as big a moment as when the Duchess of Sussex went through that place. So it is a theme, a recurring theme, as mentioned by that guy from Netflix. As he said, I have lunch with a lot of famous people. He said, but whenever I'm around Meghan, it is otherworldly. And of course, that shirt sold out very fast. Take a look there. Is gone. It is gone. So if you were thinking about getting one of those shirts, according to the website, it is gone, gone, gone. Now, King Charles is snubbed by Aussie politician ahead of his visit down under. A slap in the face, they say. Yes, he has been snubbed from thousands of miles away. One of the longest flights that anybody in life would ever take is going to Australia. And Charles is going all the way down there while he is recovering from his mystery illness. And it don't seem as though it's going to go that well. I'm sure that he's hoping that there's going to be an outpouring of sympathy or something like that, but we'll see. Let me see. Snubbed by Aussie politician. Jacinta Allen turns down invite to welcome King. And then the next one says, no premieres to be at Cambria event for Charles III. Interesting. The state won't be sending anybody from a senior parliamentary leadership position to welcome King Charles III on his first visit to Australia as monarch. And I believe this is his 17th visit in life. Victoria Premier Jacinta Allen and even Deputy Premier Ben Carroll won't be attending the King's Welcome event in Cumbria on Monday, October 21st. Miss Allen's parliamentary secretary, Nick, is it Stalkos? Yeah, Nick Stalkos. You know, there's a lot of, that sounds Greek. There's a lot of Greek people in Australia. Did you know that? There are lots of Greeks there. And State Governor Margaret Gardner, an avowed Republican, will represent Victoria at the event. Oh, wow. So there's going to be an avowed Republican there to greet him. Oh, well, I'm sure it's going to be a warm greeting nonetheless. Yeah, all premiers and ministers have sworn allegiance to our monarch. It's a monumental insult that they now split or should I say spit in his hand, extended in friendship, she told the Herald's son. This is a historic opportunity to unite Australia and focus on charitable work. Let me see. Give back to communities. Let me see. Yet our immature politicians are clearly choosing to play politics. Opposition spokesman Brad Roswell says Miss Allen is in May urging her not to downplay the king's visit. Okay. Well, that hurts my eyes. And then, of course, there's Lydia. Lydia Thorpe is a very proud First Nations person. And, well, she wants none of it, I'm sure. Now, I could not find one single article where she has made mention of this visit, but she has been known to push back against the idea of monarchy. Who could forget this right here, where Lydia Thorpe refers to the Queen as a colonizer while making oath in Senate video. So let me see. I want to see if I can play the sound for that. Yeah, she showed up wearing what appears to be leather pants, I think. If those are not leather pants, then they look like what Olivia Newton-John wore at the end of the major motion picture Grease. Very tight like that. Let me see here. We go together like scrum-a-lama-lama, shadinga-da-dinga-dong. Remember forever like shoobop, shawada-wada, hippity-boom-da-boom. Change, 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 change about. That's the way it will be. Oh, I just thought about that. That is a connection. She's Australian. Olivia Newton-John was Australian. Okay, here goes.
Well, please recite the affirmation on the card handed to you.
I, Sovereign Lydia Thorpe, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will be faithful and I bear true allegiance to the colonising Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Senator Thorpe, you are required to recite the oath as printed on the card, so please recite the oath.
None of this.
Senator Thorpe, order.
I, Lydia Thorpe, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law.
Okay, so there you go. She went there. She called her the colonizing Queen Elizabeth II. But she came back because otherwise she could not be confirmed to her position in Parliament unless she swore an oath of allegiance not only to Queen Elizabeth, but to all of her heirs and successors. Yeah. So yeah, she is quite the spirited one. First Nation Green Senator refers to colonizing Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Wow, that was powerful. And of course, taking a stand. And the Queen is looking like, come again? Say that again? What did she say? Oh, really? Like she said when her and Harry did that little skit that time. Oh, really? And then, of course, right here, in a sensational decision, the Reserve Bank will drop King Charles III from the bill, saying it was time for a new design that honors the culture and history of first Australians. And of course, Senator Thorpe was all for that. This is a massive win for the grassroots. First Nation people who have been fighting to decolonize this country. First Nation people never ceded our sovereignty to any king or queen ever. Time for a treaty republic. Yes, time for a treaty republic, she says. And there you can see she is willing to literally roll in the dirt to get her point across. Senator Lydia Thorpe knocked to ground and struggled with police at anti-trans rally in Cumbria. Let me see. Yep, she was literally knocked to the ground. So she is not one to be toyed with. When she is making a point, she will be heard. All right. I love that photo right there. I believe that is the First Nations flag. Instead of saying indigenous, I believe now the new terminology, the new way to say it is First Nation. How the Princess of Wales sends hidden messages through her glittering selection of jewelry. Well, so as you know, Kate Middleton almost never goes without that blue sapphire. But it seems as though, as one of the squaddies said, it seems like the Daily Mail is trying to tell us, but yet not tell us at the same time, that there is trouble in paradise with the Prince and Princess of Wales. They are telling us without telling us. I mean, look at the headline. How the Princess of Wales sends hidden messages. I don't know, like what? Divorce, allegedly, as though it's possible that they're divorced, that all that time away from the public may have been a real power play. Is that what they're saying? I mean, take a look there when she went walking through the meadow recently, through the fields of grain, no sapphire. When she and Willie Leaks gave a shout out to the Olympic athletes, no wedding band. But as someone pointed out, she has done everything in the world wearing that band. I mean, look at there. She couldn't believe her luck. This is that famous engagement announcement where she demonstrated that she was the right woman for the job. I mean, out of all of the tens of millions of people in the United Kingdom, it really came down to one person whose shoulders will have to carry the weight of the institution one of these days. The savior of the monarchy. Yeah, she has some major things that she has to do. And according to the British tabloid media, there has never been anybody more prepared than Kate Middleton. And because she was preparing for that moment most of her life, when they went in front of those cameras, she literally aced it. Oh, I was so proud of her.
Well, obviously it'd be, I would love to have met her. And and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to, obviously on to this day, and going forward and things. It is, it's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So yeah, I do.
Okay, you do what, girl? What do you do? What do you do? And of course, the dress that she's wearing echoes Wallace Simpson. Now, there she is. Guess what she has on her left hand? A sapphire and diamond ring. Wetsuit-clad Princess Kate Bahamas Ocean video has fans saying the same thing. The Prince and Princess of Wales visited an Earthshot okay, who cares? Fans couldn't help but point out that she continued to wear her iconic diamond and sapphire engagement ring on her left hand, with many stating they assumed she would have left the iconic jewel that previously belonged to Princess Diana safely at home, but she did not. She took it with her and she went scuba diving. So if she could do all of that, surely she could walk through a field of wheat or grain or whatever harvest it was wearing that ring. Oh, it's got to be at least 3 or 4 of them. Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked on the wrong one. There we go. There's got to be at least 3 or 4 people. Okay. There's Charlotte, Louis, and George. Those are fans. Pippa. And I'm going to put a question mark by Pippa's name. But yeah, look at there. She can clutch her purse. Look like she could even pick boogers wearing that ring. Yeah, she can go digging for gold and never have to take that ring off. So what happened to it? Inquiring minds want to know what happened to that ring. Why is she not wearing it? And of course, the other thing that I wanted to point out is that this was Kate not so long ago. At least I think it was Kate. One is supposed to believe that that's Kate. However, it almost seems like that there has been some airbrushing, or someone has taken license with that image, because when you compare it to the more recent photos, it almost seems like another person. YM Droid, 20 months membership. Just think of how long Kate has been keen on the early years at this point. The first batch is into their adult years. But Kate is still learning. Yes, it took her 10 years to come up with 5 questions and a few more years before she was able to articulate it. So yeah, the first batch of early years kids are probably have their driver's license by now. Okay. Thank you again, YM Droid, for 20 months membership. Okay. So, I mean, just compare what we saw at Troop in the Color. It's almost like a different person. In a controlled environment, everything goes their way. But you step away from that and it's like, who that? Who that, Pa? Who that, Pa? Who that woman is? Who that woman is, Pa? That's a good question. That is an excellent question. Who is she? Well, the one on the left is a Getty image, right? And the one on the right, they have taken a little license to it, I think. That's the one that was published. Well, maybe not. I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah. So when I say protected, Kate Middleton is protected in every way possible. They're not the independent media that they pretend to be. They're actually an arm of the royal family. So they may just as well work for Kensington Palace or Buckingham Palace. But everything is not what it appears to be, obviously. Okay, so with that, hope you can sleep now. Thank you very much. I told you we'd probably be about an hour, and that's exactly what it turned into, about an hour. So, love you guys. Thank you, moderators, the Mod Squad, for keeping this a safe space. And also, thank you all for trusting me to do this work. I really, really do appreciate that. I don't know if the Lady Sussex is coming on tomorrow. I do hope so, but no pressure, because she has other things. And but anyway, we're enjoying the marathon. I got so much work done last week watching Lady Sussex and George and Charles. So I was cleaning and all kind of stuff. I got so much work done. So I'm looking forward to them coming on tomorrow because I got some things to do. Yeah, it's nice for me to be able to sit back and listen to stimulating conversation. So, all right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex.